out as AGRITRADE to come and visit Mr. Ddiba at his farm. From morning we are here. We have been moving around almost. We have almost covered around 150 acres. And some group of mine, people are very tired. But as AGRITRADE, we are committed. And Mr. Paul, we are really very, very, very happy for this opportunity. Now, my colleague has taken you through when we were at your farm of the beekeeping. Now we are in your farm of coffee. Most people admire to start farming coffee or growing coffee, but they don't know where to start from. As a brief, what inspired you to start this project of coffee?
Thank you, Mr. Jeremiah. I'm also very happy that I've received you today and you've come to visit me. I worked for a Danish organization for quite some years, and I decided to do my own private businesses, but I looked at coffee as one of the things that at least I could do when I'm also doing something else in the garden. I like coffee myself, and I started planting coffee slowly by slowly, but of course through learning from some other people and also getting ideas from people. So I got someone called Dan Kisitu, who is actually a farmer, a very good farmer, and he introduced me to this system, and I caught up with him very well, and that's what I'm trying to do right now as you've been moving around seeing the coffee plantation. This is Kawumu coffee you have around here. We have quite a number of acres, as you've seen, and at the same time we have things we put in here like beans, so that at least they could boost the coffee very well, because you cannot plant coffee and then the space you have is empty. There should be something at least that could really push you into that. So we have the beans, at the same time we have the coffee, because when the beans are out, then we still have a coffee. And beans normally take 3 months, so that means you don't have grass within the coffee, because coffee is not living close to where there's grass and so on.
Okay.
But of course, you said what inspired me. I like coffee, and I grew up with my parents who are also coffee growers and they're farmers, so I have that in my family, and that's why actually I brought it up. And I think it's one of the good businesses we have around. Everybody's coffee. Yeah.
So Mr. Paul, from an understanding of someone who wants to start this project, maybe if we go back on which crops can be planted with coffee in the garden, as for you did for beans, which other crops can adopt the same model?
Well, the peas are doing very well. The groundnuts are also doing very well, but it depends to who, because it would be very good if you're planting this coffee to have that space, the gap between both of the trees you can see as you can actually look at them. But as long as you don't come close to the roots of the coffee, I'm sure the peas, the beans, groundnuts, they can do very well actually. And also another thing is it depends to what you want. You can also put some lines, as you've seen with the matoke. They can also be on the other side so that they could support, because as far as I know, with the roots of the coffee, they always they get water from far distance. And of course, when it comes to water, coffee is doing very well with water. That's why you can see here it's a little bit it's not dry, but because we have the forest, we have the water, so that's why the coffee is doing very good. So I think as long as you don't bring something that can cover the coffee, beans, the peas, groundnuts, we've been using that, there's no problem.
Okay. Someone there may be wondering, how old is this tree here?
This tree here is 3 years.
3 years. I heard about some coffee that is harvested at 1.5 years. Have you ever heard about it?
I mean, it depends. But as far as I know, I'll talk about this one here, 3 years. And the reason why it's even 3 years is because within the soil here, I used cow dung, you know, those are the fertilizers. But of course, I have cows, and I get that waste for the cows and then put underneath the hole, and that's why it's actually a little bit faster. And I can talk about this one is 3 years. The others who are talking about 1.5 years, I don't know.
Okay.
But for me, I'll talk about this one is.
Okay, Mr. Paul.
Years, yeah.
According to your experience, this is a new crop.
It is.
Yeah. It means you have other farms where you have already harvested some coffee.
Yes.
So, in one tree like this one, how many kilograms do you expect every time you pick?
Well, it depends. If it's actually, it has got enough water, you can get something like around between 20 to 25 kilos
on one tree.
On one tree.
That is really fantastic.
Yes.
And you know the market price of trees now? The market price of coffee.
Yes, I know the market at the moment now. It's around 7,000.
Okay.
A kilo, 6,500. It depends where. But that's how it is.
That's the standard from this place of yours.
Yes, yes.
If I want to start a farm, how much land do I need?
Well, I mean, you can have a smaller land, but it depends on the quantity of what you want. If you have 50 by 100, still you can get something out of it. But of course, it's quite small land. But you must, if you want to do this business very well, it must be on a bigger land. Let's say we're talking about an acre, 2 acres, and so on, because that's what you're looking at for, I mean, school fees, taking care of yourself, and so on. Because you normally harvest this twice in a year, you know, 6 months, 6 months. So when you look at that, you must have something which, the more bigger land you have, the more coffee you'll get actually, the kilos you'll get, and so on.
Okay, Mr. Paul.
Yeah.
What do you advise the young farmers out there who want to venture into coffee farming?
Well, what I can advise them is to be patient enough, because this is not something you do for a very short time. But of course, in the long run, it's very good because it can take you everywhere. It's just to make sure you do something when you want it. If you are harvesting, make sure you harvest the red coffee. Don't harvest the green, and so, you know, because that will bring you problem. And also, the good thing with this coffee, I'm assuring you, is the market is there. People who are buying coffee, they're ever there. Because myself, I'm looking at this export now to Europe and other countries, US. That's where I have to take the coffee, because I'm looking for that good market, and I'm sure the market is there, and we can do it. We are looking at our parents. They brought us up when they are looking after coffee plantations. We went to school because of that. Even myself, I'm doing the same thing with my children, with the community, because for example, casual laboring, we have people, women who are within the village here, they need to do something like that, they earn something. But also another thing is, if you are doing this business and like for example, I was selling coffee now and then, but then I decided to make sure I got into it also planting the coffee, and also I can get coffee from other people. That is so that I can get good, big quantity. So if I'm to export to Europe, I have my neighbors within, we can put our hands together and then we do something that helps the rural area, and then at least within the village, people can at least benefit from you as you are there. So maybe sometimes you can call yourself an investor, because if you can, at least all the people around you can also benefit from that. I'm sure that is really very good, and that's why I'm saying I'm so happy with AGRITRADE Uganda, because they are doing a very good job for all the people around.
Okay.
So it's just you to say, this is what I can manage, because it's not all people that have bigger land. No. But at least you can start from there. what you have and then at least move on slowly by slowly. So you have the coffee, you have the cows, you have the poultry part of it, and then I'm sure you can move on.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Mr. Paul.
You're welcome.
As AgriTrade, we are still doing our work, and Ddiba Paul is our member, and his company is called Kawumu. We have today decided to come and visit him at his farm, and this is exactly what we do. One of the reasons is to look at the capacity so that we don't misuse opportunities when they come. Mkulupo will be joining us at Specialty Coffee in Oregon, Portland next year in April, and we are going with him. He will have to get the exposure to see how more people do this business. Thank you.